Okay. The next thing we're gonna hit up this piece of content. This is back to political shit, but it's also from AwakenWithJp, and he's like a fairly wholesome and tame personality overall.
Love JP.
So, like, deal with it.
Exactly.
Good evening, sheep. Our top.
So, for context, for anyone who doesn't watch this guy's channel, he has this running thing where he does "We Lie to You" news, and it's just a parody of mainstream media. So
Much.
Stories tonight. Biden falls off his bike, which is not hilarious. Transgender.
Cheers, I'll drink to that.
He's like, yeah.
Oh, man, that is perfect.
Not banned from women's swimming. The Clinton body count goes up. Shocker. Stephen Colbert's staff breaches the Capitol, and Biden's daughter's diary contains shocking accusations against him. What's it say? Stay tuned to find out.
You mean the kid? You mean the guy that's constantly sniffing and groping other people's kids did some untoward, potentially illegal stuff to his own children too? Who would have guessed?
Who would have thought?
But first, we're proud to be building back better than ever now that the stock market is crashing, crypto is crashing, gas prices are through the roof, food shortages, record high inflation, and rising interest rates. As we are now in a recession, President Brandon reassures us that we are not heading into a recession. In other news, we don't know what the term gaslighting
very reassuring
means.
And gaslighting? What's that? What is a gaslight even?
Happy Father's Day from this past weekend. President Biden celebrated Father's Day by falling off his bike while he was standing still.
Oh my God.
And you know what's hilarious about that? People tried to say, oh, his foot got caught in the strap. Look at his foot. It's not caught in a strap.
Right.
There's straps on those pedals. His brain just glitched and he couldn't get his foot down. What I'm saying is the man is profoundly infirm and has no business being in any office, let alone the presidency. If you voted for Biden, you're a fucking idiot.
What an athlete.
This man needs to be...
Looks like Putin did it. And we have...
Looks like Putin did it.
He was like, ooga booga booga. You're gonna fall off your bike.
He was like, now you see, I have this voodoo. He was like, listen to me. My babushka taught me voodoo. I poke this needle into Biden's knee. He go down.
Early word, the X Games will be featuring a new extreme sporting event this year called Standing Up, as it is a for even a fully mentally and physically competent leader of the world. And then Father's Day, as Hunter's dad is obviously one of the greatest fathers in the world, a powerful example that you can learn from of how he lovingly fathers his crack addict son that he raised is how he used his personal secret
crack addict pedophile son. Crack addict pedophile son.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Can't forget that part.
Can't forget that part. All confirmed, by the way. Literally true, by the way.
The FBI to try to hide the existence of his son's laptop that allegedly contained highly incriminating information. Another great example.
And that's something why don't people, like, forget the crack addict part. Yeah. I don't care that he had a drug problem. I had a drug problem. Can we focus on the fact that he's pictured with a 9-year-old girl in lingerie and he's naked? Can we focus on that instead?
Right.
I don't care about the crack. I care about the sex with 9-year-olds in Thailand.
Yeah.
Example of his fathering is how he used the Secret Service to intervene with Hunter's gun, as Hunter had committed a felony when he lied on the firearms application. But an even more impressive example of his fathering is how he used the FBI to raid the homes of 2 Project Veritas journalists while trying to obtain a diary written by his daughter, Ashley, which contained highly incriminating accusations against her father, which is your president. For more on this endearing act of fathering, we'll throw it over to Tucker Carlson.
So why were the FBI coming to the homes of employees at Project Veritas. What did they do? Were they involved in a human smuggling ring? Were they bringing fentanyl in from China and killing more Americans? No. The FBI believed that Project Veritas was in possession of or had information about a diary written by Joe Biden's daughter, Ashley Biden. Yeah. The FBI claimed that diary had been stolen. We now know the FBI knew that diary had not been stolen, and it wasn't. But as James O'Keefe pointed out at the time, and didn't have enough people hear him when he said it, what if it was stolen? Having a stolen diary is not a federal crime. So what in that diary was so important that Joe Biden sent FBI agents to get it back? Here's what O'Keefe said.
The tipsters indicated that the diary included explosive allegations against then-candidate Joe Biden.
I don't see anything wrong with any of that, and neither should you.
I love how JP just cuts right back to the gaslighting.
Exactly.
The shocking accusations that Ashley Biden wrote in her own diary against her father. Well, nothing disturbing if you don't have a soul. So let's find out. Tucker Carlson.
What's in the diary? And now we know what's in the diary, thanks to a new piece in the Daily News, which has a copy of the diary. Josh Boswell is a reporter there at the Daily Mail. He broke this story, and he joins us with the answer.
Hi, Tucker.
Josh, thanks so much for coming on. What is this about?
So we've looked at the diary. We've spent a lot of time considering carefully what to report from it. And what we've chosen to report are some pretty serious things that Ashley, the president's daughter, wrote. She wrote that she was musing over whether her father was sexually inappropriate with her when she was a little girl. She mentions in the diary showers with her dad. She also talks about them being probably not appropriate. She writes that down on one page in her diary. And she also refers to being hypersexualized at a young age. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of references in the diary to her repeated spells in rehab, her relapses with drug abuse, alcohol, and sex addiction as well.
Just sounds like good fathering. And I do wonder why Biden...
I'm not making any definitive statements here. I'm just saying, and that's just the stuff she remembers.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is such a fan of sexualized drag shows for children. But some critics suggest that those shows for children are wrong, and that those same drag queens should follow Biden's example and stop dancing for children, for God's sakes. And just start showering with them instead. In other news, a former Clinton advisor named Mark Middleton has been found hanging in a tree with a gunshot blast to his chest. His death has obviously been ruled a suicide.
Hanging from tree with shotgun blast to chest.
Wow.
The Clintons just can't stop killing people.
No. Because Hillary's like, oh, they know too much.
Literally, dude. God.
Gunshot blast to his chest. His death has obviously been ruled a suicide, which means another person heavily linked to the Clintons has unfortunately committed suicide. Wow. Sounds like there's nothing to see
here.
Let's hear more.
Rule it as a suicide?
What?
I said, did they seriously rule it as a suicide, though?
Yeah, I'm sure they did. First of all, I'm sure they did just based on, historical precedent. Second of all, that's how his shtick works. He reports on something that's true and then tries to convince us that thing is normal and okay. That's part of the we lie to you shtick.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, I was just like, it's that thing of you're not ever sure if he's actually joking because these people are so absurd.
Freedom of Information Act request, it was discovered that Mr. Middleton admitted Jeffrey Epstein, who is a pedophile, another unfortunate suicide victim, and someone with heavy ties to the Clintons, into the White House on 7 different occasions while Clinton was in office. Mark Middleton also had the immense pleasure of flying on Epstein's private jet and is rumored to have been a major player in strengthening Epstein's relationship with Bill Clinton. I think this is nothing but heartwarming to hear, because we all know how important friendships are for having a happy life. But because Mr. Middleton didn't leave a suicide note, there's unfortunately no explanation for why someone committed suicide on him. And with
Oh, that is beautiful.
It really is. You know what's crazy to me is they're not even trying to hide it anymore.
No.
Like the Clintons are just like, yep, we're killing people, and there isn't shit you can do about it. Like, I hate that.
Yeah,
I
because they know that no one's going to do anything about it.
Right. It's like,
Yeah.
Countless Clinton associates having committed suicide over the years, we would like to thank the Clintons for altruistically spending so much time with vast numbers of suicidal people in what is obviously an attempt to try to help them. And then others completely scrubbed from the internet for some reason. The original name for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for Population Control. Take a look.
In 1998, Dr. Zabin became the founding director of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population Control, with a mission to help developing countries create their own reproductive health policies and programs.
Huh. I wonder why they thought of that. Moving along.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone, just so you know, new study out of Israel, the COVID vaccine has been shown to impact sperm count. They say it's temporary. They say.
On Sunday, the World Swimming Governing Body voted to ban transgender athletes from competing in women's competition. With a 71.5% vote in favor of the ban, spokesperson James Pierce said the reason for the ban is, it's what the scientists are saying, that if you transition after the start of puberty, you have an advantage, which is unfair. I doubt that. I guess they haven't heard the latest science that stated there are no biological differences between men and women. Yet, because the differences are so distinct, some people will go through drastic hormone therapies and surgeries in order to have more of the biological differences of their chosen sex. Science is so exact sometimes that it's confusing. And with the banning of trans athletes, this marks the end of an exciting time in women's swimming. So to help commemorate the sad ending of the golden era in women's swimming, let's take a look back down memory lane at some highlights of some of the best biological males to have ever competed in women's swimming while they could.
Oh my God, JP, you're such a troll.
Yep. So great. Oh my God. Mason says, walk strong. Oh my God.
Actually murdered Kurt.
I would say nay.
I'm on the fence, Caitlin. I'm on the fence. I think there's a very reasonable argument to be made that she did, but there's just as much evidence to show that Kurt was deeply disturbed and did it himself.
Yeah.
I really can't. I'm not like one of these super fans that's like looked into it a whole bunch. I will tell you this. I knew a girl in high school who definitely was a super fan. Like, she knew everything about Kurt Cobain. She knew she memorized the address of where he lived. She'd been to the house up in Seattle.
Wow.
Or it's not in Seattle. My point is, this girl, Tony, hey, Tony, if you see this, what up, girl? She knew everything about Cobain. And my point is, she was convinced that bitch had killed him. So
I'm not crying. You're crying. Former comedian and current communist subverter Stephen Colbert is in some hot water. 9 producers and staff members from his show have been arrested at the Capitol building and charged with unlawful entry. Turns out they were found illegally snooping outside the offices of some GOP Congress members. This means Stephen Colbert's team has breached the Capitol in what objectively looks like an insurrection. But luckily, his team is not expected to be illegally held in solitary confinement for a year and a half, like those dirty right-wing ultra-MAGA insurrectionists from January 6th were. The difference is that Colbert's staffers unlawfully entered the Capitol building, while some of those right-wing dirty insurrectionists were escorted into the Capitol building by security guards. That's it for tonight's indoctrination. Enjoy the recession. It's a necessary part of the Great Reset. And if you know the Clintons, you better keep your mouth shut. And Biden is Father of the Year. Oh yeah, and Biden's been accused of rape. Believe all women, but not this one. The year. Oh yeah.
Biden accused of sexually assaulting Senate aide in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. And by the way, this allegation is much more credible than any of the allegations against some other people like I don't know, Trump.
Right.
Like, just look into this allegation. It's ridiculous how credible this allegation is. The amount of evidence that exists around this. He did it.
And Biden's been accused of rape. Believe all women, but not this one. Kamala Harris did say she believes all Biden's accusers, but whatever. Good night. What's up, my friend? If you're like me...
No.
Yeah. Yep. Gee, it's almost like when people show you who they are, you should just believe them.
Mm-hmm.